Children, good morning to all. In this class, we will discuss Class 4 Social Studies, Chapter 5 Agriculture in India. Agriculture. What do you mean by agriculture? That is, practice of farming and cultivation of land to grow crops is called agriculture. That is, growing crops and practice of farming means dairy farming, livestock rearing, fishing, horticulture. What do you mean by dairy farming? Keeping animals for milk. That is, the farm which produce milk. And livestock rearing like poultry farming, keeping hens and ducks, and cattle rearing, that is keeping cows and buffaloes, and fishing, fisheries, and horticulture. What do you mean by horticulture? Horticulture is a garden, okay, where plants are grown. Plants, for example, plants, vegetables, and fruits. These are grown in a garden. So those are known as horticulture. So, dear children, agriculture not only includes growing crops, agriculture also includes dairy farming, livestock rearing, fishing, and horticulture. Okay? So, I hope you understood. Next, importance of agriculture. Why agriculture is important? Why? Because through agriculture, we get food. Okay? So, agriculture produces food. For whom agriculture produces food? Okay? From agriculture, people and animals get food. That is why agriculture is important. Next, importance of agriculture. Why agriculture is important? Because agriculture produces food for people and animals. And what do we get from agriculture? We get milk, food and fibers like wool and silk. Through dairy farming. Through dairy farming, we get milk and rearing of livestock. Okay? Through rearing of livestock, we get fibers like wool and silk. So, that is why agriculture is important, as they provide food for us and also as well as animals. Agriculture also provides raw materials to many industries like canned food industry, textile industry, and leather industry, which depends on agriculture. So, dear children, there are many industries in our country, India, and those industries cannot run without the help of raw materials. Okay? Which are obtained from agriculture. That is, some of the industries are canned food industry, textile industry, and leather industry. These types of industries cannot run without the raw materials which are obtained from agriculture. Why? Because to make manufactured goods in that industry, they need raw materials which are obtained from agriculture. That is the reason. So, agriculture provides raw materials to many industries. And the major occupation of the people of India is farming. Farming is the major occupation of the people of India. Why farming is very important for us? Because it produces food for people and animals, and farming is the major occupation, that is main occupation for the people of India, as in our country India we have favorable climate and fertile soil. The climate condition is suitable for us for growing crops, and the soil is fertile, that is the quality of the soil is very good for growing crops, and irrigation facilities. And also in our country India we have irrigation facilities to grow crops. It means that, for example, whenever we grow crops need rainfall, isn't it? Water to grow. Without water, crops cannot grow. Next, crops in India. Now we will discuss what are the crops grown in India. Okay, there are different types of crops grown in India. That is food crops. What do you mean by food crops? Food crops are those crops which are grown to feed people. That means those are grown for people's food. Okay, so what are the examples of food crops? Rice, wheat, millets, and different types of pulses. These are examples of food crops. What do you mean by cash crops? Cash crops means the crops which are grown as raw materials for industries and sold for money. It means that the crops which are grown as raw materials means those crops are taken to the industries and they are processed in the industries and they are manufactured. They are made into manufactured goods which are made into different products and made available in the market, and they sell. Okay, they are made available in the market for selling, that is, they are sold for money. Those types of crops are called cash crops. So I hope you understood about difference between food crops and cash crops. Name some examples of cash crops: cotton, jute, sugarcane, oilseeds, tea, coffee, spices, and coconut. These are some of the examples of cash crops. For example, let us take a sugarcane. So when the sugarcane is grown by the farmers, they are harvested, they are collected, isn't it? And after collecting, what they do? They send to the factories, sugar industries. And in the factory, they will process the sugarcane. Okay, they will manufacture into sugar, and they will pack the sugar and send it to the market, and sugar is made available in the market after processing the sugarcane in the industries. So these types of crops which are processed, taken to the industries as raw materials, and they are processed to make manufactured goods are known as cash crops. So I hope you understood about cash crops. Next, food crops of India. Let us discuss food crops of India one by one. Some of the food crops: rice. Rice is also called paddy, and rice is the staple food crops of India. Why? Because rice is eaten by most of the people of our country, India. So rice is the common food of our country, India. And rice is grown in what type of climate? Rice is grown? Rice is grown in hot and wet climate. The climate should be hot and wet. Okay, in that type of climate, rice is grown. Rice is sown during monsoon season. It is sown means it is started. It is sown. It is grown. Okay, so people start growing rice during monsoon season, that is rainy season. So that is why the climate should be hot and wet. And some of the rice producing states, some of the states where rice is grown are West Bengal, Assam, Jharkhand, Bihar, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. These are some of the rice producing states of our country, India. Next, wheat. So wheat is also one of the important food crop of India, and wheat is also known as winter crop. So wheat is, why? Because wheat is grown in winter season, and to grow wheat, the climate should be cool and moist climate. Okay, the climate should be cool and moist. There should be moisture in the atmosphere. And wheat is the staple food of northern India, means it is the common food for the people living in the northern part of India. Okay, like Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Gujarat, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Gujarat, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, these are some of the states in the northern part of India, and these states produce wheat. Okay, so the major wheat producing states in our country, India, are these states. So I hope you understood about wheat. Next, millets. So millets were the first crops cultivated by early settlers. The early settlers means the early humans, when they started growing crops. Okay, millets were the first crops grown by them. So millets are coarse food grains. They are also food grains, but they are coarse food grains. So they don't require fertile soil to grow. They can grow everywhere. That is why they are called coarse food grains. So some of the examples of millets are jowar, bajra, ragi. These are some of the examples of millets. And what is the climate required for growing millets? The climate should be hot and dry climate. So millets grow well in hot and dry climate. And some of the states, some of the millet producing states: Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, Bihar, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. These are some of the states where millets are grown. So I hope you understood about wheat and millets. Next, pulses. Some of the examples of pulses are moong, masoor, arhar, and gram. So these are some of the examples of pulses. And pulses are grown in Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Okay, these are some of the states, pulses growing states. And India is world's largest producer and consumer of pulses. So dear children, I hope you understood about this lesson agriculture, about food crops, cash crops and different types of food crops. In our next class, we will continue discussing cash crops of India, which are used as raw materials in the industries to manufacture goods. Thank you. Have a nice day.